And thank goodness we have people like Catherine Birren, who's joining us today. 2 weeks ago, she was part of a team of people headed by Dr. Ricky Ott, who held a 5-day teach-in titled Changing the End Game. The team traveled to 5 cities in 4 Gulf states, speaking, educating, and helping the people affected by the spill, many of whom were very sick. Their goal was to educate them on changing the end game. Where do we go from here? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be aware of this, help her out, and support her, as they are voices down there that are in the minority because no one is talking. And I thank her very much for joining us. Let me ask you the question as to why is it that if people are sick, then they must be going to doctors. Doctors must be doing tests. They must see the causation is the same for these people. Yet you're not hearing one word. We're not seeing journal articles in the AMA or anywhere saying that the Gulf has sick people. How are they keeping this quiet, Catherine?
I think a lot of the local doctors, number one, a lot of them are listening to what the news is telling them, and they don't want to believe it. They don't want to get dragged into court. The easiest thing for them to do is say that there's not a problem and just try to treat their symptoms. And the only things that really help them is natural medicine type, like homeopathic type of treatments. And there's only a few doctors that actually treat patients that way. A lot of them feel that they're being threatened. I know that there was an incident with a doctor toward the beginning of the oil spill, and they were starting to see people that were sick that was actually saying, look, this is definitely due to the oil spill. We're having problems here. What's going on? And was trying to expose it a little bit. And I was told that he was accused of armed robbery at a convenience store and arrested. Now, this man had like $1 million in his account. His personal account. He had no reason to do it, and actually some of the officers that were part of it, when they saw the video, said, this is not the same man, why are we arresting him? Eventually, there was a mistake in this, we let him go. But, things like that happening, that's a threat. And actually, I was actually given some information. I spoke with a member of the Louisiana Health Freedom Coalition. The people that I spoke to wanted their names kept out of it because they've been getting threats. They've been being harassed. But there were approximately 20-plus letters sent out to people in the state of Louisiana that practice natural medicine, 4 of which were medical doctors that have advertised for years that they practice natural medicine, who were sent out letters from the government saying to cease and desist practicing natural medicine without a license. Now, in the state of Louisiana, they have worked very hard to not have to do this under a license. So this is not even a legal thing. The natural medicine practitioners can practice in the state of Louisiana without this license. And they're telling me that when they actually got together and had a meeting, no one would say who got the letters because they were being harassed so much. Now, these are the only people that are able to help the sick people. And we have tons of sick people and only a small handful of doctors that have any clue as to how to help them. And people like Joey, who's being treated by a doctor, Dr. Soto, who has been very vocal. He's been great. This costs like $700-800 a week. Most people can't afford that. And most of their insurances are not going to cover it, including the children that are all on the children's state insurance and, like Healthy Kids, I know in Florida is what they call it here. I don't know, what it's called there, but, they don't cover the type of treatment that the people need. I think a lot of fear is what's happening there. There's a lot of fear. I believe there's been a lot of threats. There's been a lot of money thrown at the states. And, you know how it is with money. I mean, you pay people off.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's got to be a whole lot of money changing hands somehow, because I cannot imagine all of these physicians keeping quiet and playing like, oh, yeah, they've got some kind of mystery illness, all of them together, and we just can't figure it out. The veterinarians have got to be seeing sick dogs and cats.
They are. They're actually seeing the same symptoms in animals that they're seeing in people. We've actually had people that have died. And if you go on changingtheendgame.com, there's a small video on the first page, and there's a woman who looks very sick. She pulls up the front of her shirt and shows huge bruises on her body. One thing you need to understand is that woman was healthy before the spill, and in March, she actually died. And there's actually a clip where it shows a picture of her sick and a picture next to it of her looking really great and healthy. That was pre-oil spill. She was a resident in, I believe it was Louisiana, and she got sick and she died. Now, we can't say 100% it was a spill, but we do believe that it was.
Oh, my goodness. All of these mystery illnesses, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to ask about the fish when we get back and the Obama video.